There's a character in one of Lemony Snicket's series of unfortunate events books, Mr. Remora, who's really bad at telling stories. He'll say, "One day I went to the store to purchase a carton of milk. When I got home, I poured the milk into a glass and drank it. Then I watched television. The end." I thought of this when I was thinking of what makes a good and funny story because I had a similar experience and I told the story to someone and they said that was a really fun and interesting story, even though the subject matter was totally boring. The story I told was that I really wanted an apple the other day. Sometimes it's just nothing like that delicious and refreshing crunch of an apple. But when I got to the grocery store, the apple shelf was empty, like not a single apple. I was about to give up and leave the store, but I thought, damn, no, I'm really craving that apple. Then I saw a worker come out stocking something totally different, lettuce, and I figured this lettuce guy must know what's going on with the apples, so why not ask? He was a pimply-faced teen, and I said, "Hey, any chance you've got some apples you just haven't brought out yet?" He sighed and said, "I'm not sure, I'll check." And then he went to check, and he takes his sweet time. Minutes go by, and I'm thinking, well, now I'm stuck here. What am I supposed to do? Maybe he's having a bad day, maybe he's having a bad adolescence. How do I know if he's ever going to come out? And the more time he spends back there, the worse I feel about abandoning him and just going to a different store, which is my compulsion. But what if he's searching? What if he's going to all this trouble for me? I'm feeling bad. For all I know, he's digging through a giant warehouse of crates like at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark. I owe it to this poor kid to stick around. But I can't wait forever. I have to live my life, and I want an apple. Then I literally start thinking, did he die? Did he have one of those freak teenage brain aneurysms I've heard about? Did I kill him? Was he so stressed at this job, and was I the last straw? Finally, he comes out with one of these huge trays of apples and a big goofy smile on his face. "Found some." It was a triumph for him, for me. I feel like he became a man through the ordeal, and I got to witness his important life passage. I thanked him for his service, picked out a good apple, and actually took my first bite before I even got to checkout. I was so excited to eat it, to hell with whatever unspoken rules of grocery store etiquette. So what did I do that made that story more interesting and more entertaining than Mr. Remora's? I just did what every storyteller has to do. I applied Joseph Campbell's 12 steps of the hero's journey. The details of a story don't even have to be that interesting if you apply the 12 steps. We started with the ordinary world. I was at a store and wanted an apple. Then we have an inciting incident, no apples. We have the refusal of the call to adventure, where I thought, I'll just go. Then we had the lock-in, where I committed. And I asked the employee to find one. And then I had to stay. That was tests, allies, and enemies. Then we had the ordeal. We had increasing stakes. We had the visit to the innermost cave. Then we had resolution and even a denouement. Each step had a cause and effect relationship with each succeeding step, so the audience would care what happened and be invested. That's really the main thing a story has to do, get an audience to invest. When you don't consciously apply these steps to whatever story scenario you're working with, the story will be boring. But when you apply these steps, you give a story ups and downs, fits and starts, anticipation, suspense, reversals. These are the things that make a story interesting. And they're the basic building blocks of any story, short or long, serious or funny. How you make a funny story is, well, you first have to start with this structure, this Joseph Campbell 12 steps. The rules are the same with comedy or tragedy. With comedy, in addition to Joseph Campbell's 12 steps, you use the tools of comedy, such as avoiding cliches, heightening contrast, specificity, self-deprecation to humanize yourself if you're in the story. Most importantly, you use the funny filters. You use irony and hyperbole. You use characters and character archetypes and character irony. You use reference, which are small things in life we can all relate to. You use meta-humor. You use shock. You use parody. Now, for this story, I just took an incident from my life and embellished it off the cuff. But could I keep workshopping this story to make it a lot funnier? Continuing to use these tools to punch up the humor? Could I use it in a stand-up bit or make a funny article? Absolutely I could. Writing is rewriting. And that's all it takes to write a funny story. Bonus tip: if the story is about an inherently funny or embarrassing topic, which mine wasn't, you're going to have an even funnier story. Check out Jen Spira or David Sedaris, who do this really well in prose. Or check out Maria Bamford, Gary Gulman, or Theo Von, who are some of my current favorite storytelling comedians, to see some of these techniques I talked about in action. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want more comedy tips and comedy tools, give a subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you around.